we're here today with Steve Malone and Polly McDade, right? Am I saying that right, Polly? Or Paul?
Paul.
Polly. Carriage drivers from New York City, and I feel really, really excited about this opportunity to sit down and have a talk with you guys.
Horses are your family, basically. Like anybody that owns horses knows, like they're not just something that you come and take and put back. There's so much goes on behind the scenes, especially with where we are. Like we're in the urban environment, so we're working in our stables. But the stable is, we're working on the park, but the stable is where it all our business starts and finishes. Our day starts in the stable. When you get to the stable, you're doing your grooming, you're checking your horses, see how their health is, how their form is. Even horses that aren't working that day, you're checking up on them. But then when you finally go on, say the hack line, where we'd work.
Which is where you park your horses.
This is where we park our horses. We work in Central Park. But that's only part of our job. That really, the horse and carriage rides are the lovely little part of the job, but it's not really the job. It's what goes on behind the scenes. It's the prep, it's the cool down time, it's all the times, like ours are like an 8-hour day, you know what I mean, but we have 3 hours maybe before you go to work and maybe 2 hours after work in the stables. There's so much goes on behind the scenes. Like people might just see the horse and carriage at the park, nice groomed animal, people that understand horses. People that don't, they just see a horse, they just see something they don't want to see there, you know.
And what's great about our business that separates us, from the likes of the racetrack, a racehorse has an owner, he has a trainer, he has a walker, and he has a jockey. You know, we're hands-on. You know, when 95% of our business is owner operated, so the relationship is there every single day. It's not just I'm living somewhere else and my horse is working in Central Park. That's not the case. I'm sitting behind my horse, I'm working with my horse on a daily basis.
We were just saying there about the horses, you were asking Steve about the horses, like about the relationship with the horses, and we've always made it quite clear, like the horses are the attraction, you know.
Yes.
People aren't there to see a carriage driver or a carriage, they're there to see the horses. They come and they see the horse speaks for itself. As Steve would say about the electric cars, you can't give an electric car a carrot. You know,
Or a kiss.
Or a kiss.
Or a kiss, or a hug, you know. Now, every day, our big thing, when we meet the people, like it's great to meet the people, you know, and people love the horses, there's no doubt about that. And they like the horse and carriage rides, they like Central Park, they like the whole concept of taking a carriage ride to Central Park, and they like meeting the carriage driver too. We're kind of an authentic little breed of people, so we are, you know.
Oh yeah.
But the horses are the big attraction, and the horse is the one that gets the smiles. Children love the horses, they love to pet the horses. The parents love to see their children happy.
Yeah.
And it's the horse that makes the happiness. And it's the horse that makes us happy. And if we're happy, then they're happy. And it's like just a little, when it's nice and you're left alone to do your job, concentrate on what your job is, have a bit of a laugh with people. It's paradise, you know. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, that is very beautiful.
And the horse is kind of universal. Everybody from all around the world have horses in their countries, and then they come and they see a horse, and they like to see the horses in the urban community.
Right.
So they do. They really like to see that. It's like you're walking down Fifth Avenue all day, you know, and you're trudging on with people. The next thing, you have this little step back in time right there on 59th Street. It's beautiful.
Well, you know, New York City is built on small town people. And it's built by rural people, and people want to be able to come and to do something they wouldn't do in their own backyard. And to have the park and the carriage and the horse, which is a throwback in time, and it sort of makes them feel like they're at home, is at the same time to get away from the rat race, especially people that have never been to New York before. The pace, people are they're blown away about the speed of everything. People on the street, the size of the buildings, so they want to be able to have something that sort of relates to their own daily life as well. So when they come for the ride and they said, this is more my speed, this is what we like.
Even the New Yorkers, like, you'd be standing at your work, you know, and like our stables be over the far side of the city, over on the west side, and you'd be standing there at your work, you know, and next thing you'd be somebody walking down and be saying to you, I heard you guys going to work this morning, and they like to hear the clip-clop of the horse. Neighbourhood people,
Oh,
you know.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so much diversity in the city with people coming from different urban backgrounds and different metropolitans throughout the country, and then they get to New York and they hear this clip clop and they're thinking, oh, this is happy days, like this brings me back to my own youth or back to where I come from, or is it nice to hear it, like So,
Yeah.
but you meet them people every day. Every day, somebody say to you,
Yeah.
"I heard you guys go to work this morning. All right, you guys pass my building at night time. I like to hear the sound of the horses."
Yeah.
And then if we happen to not be there for a little while, say we had a cold winter and we're not working for a few days, or we have a hot summer and we're maybe not there for a while, when you come out then it's like a whole new beginning. You ever notice that, Steve?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And people are going, "Where have you boys been? Where have you been?" And we're like, "No, it was too cold." "Oh, that's great." Or "It's too hot." "Oh, fair enough. So you protect the horses that way you don't work. That's fair enough. But we missed you. We thought you were gone." We go, "No, we're not gone." We're not
That's
going
it too. We're such a staple for people, and that when we're not there, they miss us.
We're very
Yeah.
noticeable that
Yeah.
we're not there, you know?
Yeah. At Blue Star, when we work with the public and we take them out to be with the horses, we talk a lot about a kind of cellular memory that we all have of being with horses. We share 6,000 years with horses. And especially those of us with European descent, our countries, our civilizations were built with the help of horses. And
Sure.
we couldn't have done it otherwise. Wars.
For better or worse?
And probably their biggest participation with mankind has been in battle.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yes.
for us and for them.
Yes.
And these are things that we talk a lot about here, that, it isn't only the horses that had a hard time. The humans had a very hard time too. But they've been alongside us. They're our companions and our partners, and we know this on some level. So when we are with them at that rhythm, at that speed, there is a familiarity that touches us deeply, I think, all of us, everywhere. I think you're really right on about that. And to especially feel it in the city, where things can get so chaotic and you can get lost in the speed of it all, to have the horses there is this amazing stabilizing effect. So,
I mean, you were talking about through the history of horse and man. Like, just look at it from my standpoint. The horse enabled my father to come to America, from a small town in Ireland. And the horse then enabled him to have a job here in the city, enabled him to get married, have a son,
Support
put him through
family.
school, support a family, have his son now, bring his kids up.
Going to college.
And without the horse, none of that would have been possible.
yeah, I love it. It's wonderful. Yeah, absolutely.
Just such a big part of your life. Like, the carriage business, even though it's our business, it is nearly like an afterthought. There's so much that goes on apart from the carriage rides. So the horse is just everything. We know we've no horses, we've no business, we've no livelihood,
Nothing.
we've nothing.
Yeah.
It's the only job I've had.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the
as
only
an
job
adult.
I've ever had.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the only job I've had.
We're
And it's the only job I want.
Have you ever, I was going to say, have you even wanted to try anything else? Why would
No,
you?
why would I?
Completely satisfied.
I always have to say that we don't live in the real world.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you're working in somewhere like New York City, which
Yeah.
is so vast a city. So we've got this little cliche of our own, our little step back in time, and we just do our little thing. One man on his horse through the park. It's happy days.
Yeah.
And you talk to your horse like you talk to your friends.
Yeah.
And people come along times, they see us and they think we're half mad, we're standing talking to a horse, or we're doing this, or we're
Yeah.
doing that, and they're like, "You alright there?" You go, "Oh, we're alright, mate, sorry about that, it's no problem." If you're standing there talking to a horse, and people are like, "That boy talking to a horse?" People go, "Yeah, he is, he's alright, he's happy, isn't he?" So,
I totally relate to that. Absolutely. I mean, when you're working in that kind of scenario too, you really depend on each other. You're paying close attention to each other. So, this is a question that I've had in my heart for so long since knowing you guys. What does it feel like to be attacked in the way that you are, and to be misrepresented?
I think I'll take
in the
this
way-
one.
You're an idiot.
God, but I'm an idiot. God,
Yes, sir.
Do you think that didn't hurt?
Don't even bother.
Do you think that didn't hurt?
Animal abuse. Animal abuse. Animal abuse. Animal abuse.
Carriage drivers, go to hell! All your family, all your lives! We will never compromise! All your money, all your lives!
Abuser.
The most humiliating thing to be out in your workplace, minding your own business, doing your own work, being there. We're like ambassadors to the city, you know, and we're very, very proud of that. And every day we come up, and we've never, ever, very, very seldom we'd have any kind of controversy around our part and with people. And we have a nice time. We're always doing the right thing. And then occasionally, a couple of days a week, Saturday, Sunday, for 3 or 4 hours, people come around there and they'll harass you, they'll squeal at you, they'll just degrade you in every way they can. And it is just so annoying and embarrassing and humiliating and disgusting. And the sad thing is none of it's true. And the saddest thing about the whole thing is that they just go away. And they just go away, they just pack up then, and they just go away. But we're still there with the horses. We've got to do the grooming, we've got to get the blacksmith, got to get the veterinarians, got to pay the rent. And it goes on, and our life continues and continues and continues. And they're gone. They're away on to some other anti-parade or some other anti-demonstration
Or waiting
they have.
until the next.
Or waiting until next Saturday till
Yeah.
somebody rings them up and say, I'll give you $10 or $20 an hour to get out and harass these guys for 3 hours. But our life continues, and our life revolves around these horses. And
Yeah.
for these people to just come and just degrade you and basically just cut you to shreds and then just move on, it's just humiliating. And then we've had the well-documented issue problem last year, and then they just come up and they put it on TV and they just edit this and edit that and they just throw it out there now because of the way social networking is, and they just basically you know, try to destroy your life, like, you know.
And they are trying to.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
No doubt about it.
And then they just leave and they go on,
Yeah.
and they're on to something else.
With no regard to your
No
children,
regard
your
at
wife,
all about
your-
anything, anybody's feelings. They don't care. But the saddest thing of the whole lot is they don't care about the horses,
No.
No,
and that is the saddest thing.
And tell me why. You
it's an agenda.
Yeah.
Listen, there's no controversy. It's
That-
a created
Yeah.
controversy.
Yeah.
A
And
controversy.
that is why sometimes, myself included, and some of our boys snap, because there is, if there was cruelty, if it was there, fair enough.
If there was cruelty or anything there, we wouldn't be there.
No.
We'd be out of business.
That's right.
You know, like the SPCA, Department of Health, New York City Police Department, the Mounted Unit, they're all licensed to regulate us. Never one cruelty ticket in the history of the horse transport.
Since 1935.
1935. No business has a record like we have. No business in New York City. No business in the world.
Amazing.
It's a created controversy. Okay? When I started first in the 80s, people would always, they'd have their say to you and whatnot. With the regulations that are in place today that we helped put in place, self-imposed regulations, I might add.
Yeah, right. We should talk a little bit about that afterwards. But
Yeah, the self-imposed regulations that the industry went to the city to put forth, to better regulate themselves, to say to the public, this is what we want to do for the betterment of the animal, for the welfare of the animal, the horse.
And to protect from real abusers coming
Correct.
in.